Good morning and welcome to Maximo Bite Size, a podcast on the functionality of Maximo Manage. Today is the 10th episode in the series on asset management, and we will be discussing asset moves and asset swaps. The assets application has two actions for move modifying assets and swapping an asset with another. Both actions are available from the List tab and can operate against multiple assets. There is a combined action in the work order tracking application, but that will be discussed as part of work management. Move Modify Assets. The Move Modify Assets dialog has four tabs, each of which serves a different purpose. The Assets tab is for moving one or more assets. The Select More Assets button allows you to add additional assets to the table window, the same table window that would have been filled if you had made a query in the Assets application and then used the action from the List tab. You can move the assets to a different operating location that may be in another site, to a new parent asset, to a storeroom and bin, or to one of the other location types, for example repair, salvage, vendor, courier or labour. You can also change the GL account of the assets. The Mass Move section allows you to apply the change to the set of assets that you have selected. The Users and Custodians tab has two subtabs. Modify Selected allows you to make different changes to each selected asset. Modify All will make the change for all assets in the Assets table window. You can add new users and custodians, change the record that will act as primary responsible, or remove an existing user and custodian record. Note, the Planned Modifications section can only be performed from the work order based applications. The Groups tab also has two subtabs, Modify Selected and Modify All. In this tab you are creating, modifying or deleting the associations between one or more assets and a person group. The Attributes tab also has two subtabs, Modify Selected and Modify All. In this tab you are modifying the values of the asset specification attributes for one or more assets. Obviously, for this to work, the assets need to have a classification. However, they do not all need to have the same classification, but it is safer to work if you are modifying multiple assets with the same classification. You can add a new attribute to an asset from the Modify Selected tab. You can neither add or remove attributes from the Modify All tab, only modify existing attributes. The Assets table also allows changes to be made to the asset priority, or if the asset references a rotating item that is condition enabled, this is where you can change the condition code of the asset before sending it back to a storeroom or to a repair shop. Asset swaps. An asset swap is a movement of one asset from an operating location to a different location, the to location, with a replacement of the asset at the current operating location with another asset that is in a non-storeroom location. This performs two asset movements in the same action. If you aim to swap an asset with an asset from a storeroom, you must issue the storeroom asset first. When you issue an asset, you must specify a location. Rather than having two assets at the same operating location, you could create a new location type of asset swap, a synonym of repair, and always issue to the asset swap location and add a work order or issue to person. Then make your asset swaps between the operating location and the asset swap location. Afterwards, you move the swapped out asset from the asset swap location to its destination, likely to be either a repair, salvage or vendor location. Asset swaps can be performed on multiple assets at the same time. If you leave the to location empty, then the asset being swapped out will not belong to any location. A record of asset movements can be seen in the View Asset Move History action. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast episode, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode when we will review Asset Downtime. The music is called Busy City from the group called Track Tribe. Please check them out on tracktribe.com, all one word. Until another time, goodbye.